Here's the #1 success secret that no one talks about and no one shares.
You don't grow until it's hard. You don't build self-respect, self-esteem, self-confidence until it's hard and you follow through. Rise and shine, it's Entspresso time.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you as well. You are a genius. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee and sip on today's message from Dan Lok. Also, if you want to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. It's free. The link to join is in the description below.
After you practice martial art, you develop this natural self-confidence. Not cockiness, but you develop this natural self-confidence. There's a problem with young people. You're not good at anything. Oh, I'm so good. No, tell me the truth. You're not good at anything. Here's the #1 success secret that no one talks about and no one shares. This is something I've learned from my mentor, Dan Lok, the $50 billion man. Self-esteem is the foundation of all success. Now, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about pride. I'm not even talking about just confidence. I'm talking about self-esteem. Now, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is something that your parents didn't give you. Think about when you're growing up, when you want to do something, when you want to take some risk. What did your parents, what did your friends, what did they tell you? You're not trained for this. No one in our family is an entrepreneur, or you don't have enough education, or you don't know the right people. Just be content, right? Be happy with what you have. Or, hey, son, I want you to be successful, but not too successful. I want you to think about what is holding you back. The goals that you have that you want to achieve. Why don't you do what you know deep down that you are supposed to do? Why don't you take that risk? Why don't you start that business? What's stopping you? Because you lack self-esteem. Now, the next question you might have, Sifu Dan, how do I build my self-esteem? Let me give you a perfect example. Let's say you have a friend of yours, and he tells you all the time, hey man, let's hang out. I say, okay, you know what, let's hang out, let's go grab a drink, let's go, go for a hike. Every single time he says, okay, let's do something, he would cancel on you. And that happens again and again and again. So let me ask you a question. If that happens all the time, how would you feel about this friend, this person? Would you trust him or her? Not so much. The reason you don't have high self-esteem because you have a lousy track record. Meaning, how many times you promise yourself that you're going to do something, but you don't? How many times you make promises to yourself and you don't deliver? You don't follow through on those promises. And guess what? When you do this enough, for enough times, for enough years, you have low self-esteem because you know yourself. Well, yeah, I guess I want to do that, but I'm not going to follow through. I'm not going to make it happen. And that's why your self-esteem is low. You don't even believe in yourself. Little things, big things, you make a promise to yourself and you deliver.
Self-esteem comes from doing difficult things. You set a goal, you said you'd start doing something, and maybe even you do actually start doing that thing. But then you hit a roadblock. Then it gets difficult, it gets hard. And what you do in that moment will define the rest of your life. When it's hard, when it's difficult, do you rise to the occasion? Or do you let yourself off again, finding some really logical reason why you can't do that thing? It doesn't count until it's hard. You don't grow until it's hard. You don't build self-respect, self-esteem, self-confidence until it's hard and you follow through. I keep these in my office as a reminder of who I am in my best moments, my best self, to push me to do more and to push harder. What are these? If you're new to my channel, welcome, I'm Evan. I went on a tour at the beginning of this year. I did a tour, 23 cities, 90 days, and 2/3 of the way through, with a month left, I broke my neck. When I was in Denver, I fainted, I fell out of a chair, I hit my head against a wall, cracked the back of my head open, I had 3 staples on my head, I had a concussion, and I broke my neck in 2 spots. And after that night, I had to wear this. I had to wear this for the next, oh, I just noticed this note here. Nina signed it. I love you. Get well soon, Nina. She signed it. That's sweet. Aw, gotta go thank her. Anyway, had a little emotional moment there. I broke my neck and I decided to keep going on my tour. I had a month left. Everybody was telling me to go home. My agent told me to go home. My friends, my family said, come home, get the healthcare you need, relax, stay in bed, rest, you need to recover. And I said, being with entrepreneurs is my recovery. And pushing through and doing this tour is my healing. One, physical healing, because just sitting on the bed all day is not gonna be, for someone like me, something that's amazing. But two, just pushing through and knowing that I can, right? It doesn't count until it's hard. It doesn't count until it's difficult, and then you get up and you do it. And so if you've seen any of the videos or pictures of me at the events, I went from standing up and moving around and having energy to then I had to sit at the front of a room with pillows behind me and an ice pack on my shoulder blade for 3.5, 4 hours in massive pain the whole time, answering questions and doing my workshop. And I was so proud of myself for doing it. That's how I built my self-esteem. By getting up and doing it, by showing up. And it inspired the people who came out. They're saying, well, I lived 25 minutes away, didn't know if I wanted to make the drive, commit to it, I was kind of tired. And then I saw you with your broken neck still showing up, so I had to show up too, right? But that's not why I did it. I did it for me, I did it for myself. I had to wear this all day, all night long. This was my first one, and then it started to break, so Nina put some duct tape on it here. And then this was my second one that once it started to really wind down, I couldn't wear it anymore. I went for this one. And 10 minutes a day is all I could do to take it off for a shower. So I had to sleep in this. I had to do my workshop in this. Everything. 23 hours and 50 minutes a day, except for a 10-minute break in the shower where I took it off and was paranoid about moving anything because my neck was broken. I had to keep it stabilized. I wore these. This reminds me of how strong I am. So big shout out to Mark Drager, friend of the channel, who said, hey, you should keep those as souvenirs, as mementos. And I'm not a super sentimental guy, so I don't usually do that, but I did. I kept them both, and I keep them on my shelf down there behind me, so when I walk in to the office, it reminds me of how strong I am. Doing the workshop tour was already a stretch because it was a paid tour that I was afraid to do, and disappointing people is my number one fear. And so getting up every 3-4 days and having a chance to face my fear again was already a big stretch for me. But then doing that last month with my broken neck, just up the ante, up my level, up the challenge. And so when it gets hard, this is it, this is the example. When it gets hard, when everybody tells you, just back off, don't worry about it. Even when there's that voice inside your head that says, is that a little too much? You could just sleep, you could just relax, you've earned it. What's gonna make you proud? And at the end of the day, this is the only thing that you could judge for yourself. I would not have been proud of myself if I left the tour. I would have had a lot of good reasons to do it. I wouldn't have felt proud of myself. And so I had to keep going. That's what made me proud. That's what got me through on the other side. And it took me to another level. It doesn't count until it's hard. You will be challenged. You'll be faced with difficulties. You will have every reason in the world to slow down, to stop, to quit. What's gonna make you proud? Go do that thing. There's a 3-step process I wanna walk you through that I think will help. Let's dive in. Step number 1 is you tell yourself you do difficult things. I wanna develop that identity for myself, and I want it for you. You do difficult things. You love difficult things. What's the reason why you're not doing the thing that you wanna do? Go look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I not doing the thing that I said I was gonna do? If the answer comes back that it's difficult, it's not an acceptable answer. It's hard is not an acceptable answer. You love doing hard things. You only wanna do hard, difficult things. What's the alternative? Easy? You want easy all day long? You can get it, it's easy. You want easy? Anybody can live easy. It just means you do the same thing over and over and over again. You photocopy yesterday and the day before and the day before. You photocopy your life every day. You can live like you did yesterday and the day before for the rest of your life. Just doing the same thing, waking up, going to a job that you hate, doing that that's easy. You don't like it. Because humans are built to grow. You want to grow, you want progress, you want to be learning. And that comes by doing difficult things. You love difficult things. If you don't have something in your calendar that is difficult in the next week, you don't like your life. And so watch your language. Watch how you're speaking out to people and you're explaining things, but also just to yourself, what you think about. Oh, but it's so hard. Nope. You do hard things. You love hard things. Ask the people around you to catch it. Anytime you say something is difficult or hard, catch it. Tell me. Throw water on my face. Let me know. And then go and do that thing. And then watch your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-respect skyrocket. Number 2 is use regret to fuel you. You very rarely regret the things that you have done. You regret the things not done. You regret the things that you wanted to do, that you should have done, that you wanted to take your shot at it, but you're just afraid. You're just afraid. It's normal. It's human nature. We're afraid. We're afraid of the new. But you want to do that thing. And so I don't recommend using past regrets that much because you can't change the past, but future ones. This thing that you want to do, imagine that you never do it. This thing that you have, this idea in your head of you speaking on stage or making videos or launching that product or winning that award, whatever the thing is that's in your head, you never do it. It never happens because you're afraid. You never take that step because you're afraid. You never make that phone call because you're afraid. You never send that email, record that video, press that red button. You never do it because you're afraid. You're afraid, you're afraid, you're afraid, you're afraid. You never take action because you're afraid. Now what? Now you're 85 years old and you haven't done anything. And just feel how hard that hurts. Feel it. That sucks. And what it does is bring all that pain and fear of the next X number of decades into today's moment to force you into action. Because you have to do that thing. You want to do that thing. It's better to know and to fail than to not know. You don't want to live your whole life not knowing. So use the future fear of regret to push you into immediate action. And number 3 is tell yourself it's the best. If you hang around me long enough, you'll start saying it. It's the best. And I use it as a trigger that anytime there's something negative happening around me, from a big thing to a small thing, you rewire yourself to say, this is the best. This is the best. This is my chance to show myself and the world what I'm made of. This is the best. Whatever problem's in front of you, even yesterday I was making coffee, bulletproof coffee. You have to put coffee in a blender with milk or butter and MCT oil. And if you want some collagen, you throw it in there, you turn the blender on and it goes. When I do cream, I just keep the blender on low because you don't have to blend it that much. And I don't have a cap on. But for whatever reason, I turned the thing on and for the first time ever, the whole machine exploded on me. Coffee everywhere, all over the countertop, all over the floor, all over the cabinets. Coffee is everywhere. It's part of my morning routine. Now I'm behind. Now I gotta clean this mess up. I'm behind. I'm gonna fall behind on everything else I need to do. It's the best. This is the best. This is the best. Because what's the alternative? Just complain about it? If you believe, like I believe, that your purpose comes from your pain, that negative thing that happened to you, even in the biggest sense, I'm just talking about coffee, who cares? But the big things that are negative to happen to you are actually the best too. Because you get defined by it either way. Those challenges that get thrown in front of your face, you get defined by it either way. Either you then take on the identity that you can't handle difficult things and you succumb and you become negative and complain and drag other people down with you, or you take the approach that this negative thing that happened is the best and I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to grow from it and then I'm going to make sure that nobody else on the planet ever has to go through that crazy, scary, impossible, painful thing that you went through. That's why I love helping entrepreneurs, because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur myself. I want to try to make the path a little bit easier for you compared to what I had to go through. So it's the best. So try to catch it. Try to teach yourself. Whenever you get faced with a negative situation, no matter how big or small, just tell yourself, this thing right here is the best. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I wanna know, what difficult thing will you do to build your self-esteem? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video and you're gonna take some immediate action after watching it, then what I want you to do is give me a hashtag believe down in the comments as well.
We talk of self-esteem in one of two ways, either as the sole determinant of success or as the ultimate enemy. Most people build their self-esteem around their accomplishments. They feel good about themselves if they're making the most money, they're dating the hottest person, or they've built the best product. They get caught in the rat race of validating themselves against the person who happens to be standing next to them. But there's a fundamental flaw with this equation. Because when your ego is that attached to your success, It's devastated by your failures. And what the most successful people know is you cannot leave your self-worth in the hands of anyone else. The most successful people get their pride from a different source, one that does not fluctuate with their successes and failures.
So I knew I couldn't give up my self-esteem. I couldn't accept some weird role where I just was always the dumbass sitting in the corner. If I pride myself on being smart and you tell me I'm dumb and you put up a pretty good case for it, that's gonna damage my self-esteem. My self-esteem in that situation is very fragile. If, on the other hand, you tell me that I'm dumb and I build my self-esteem around being the learner, now I'm gonna say thank you. Please tell me in what way that I'm dumb, because you will open my eyes to something that now I can address, and I can go learn about that thing, and I will have a new skill, and I can go out and push and execute against that skill. One of the most powerful things that you could do is become the person that admits that you're wrong really fast. And it's crazy how much credibility you will earn with people simply by admitting I was wrong. Like 30 seconds ago, I was fighting so hard for something. I was really fighting for my position, and then somebody says something and I realize that's actually better. Imagine that. The more you try to tell me I'm dumb, the more areas that you point out that I'm weak, the more things you tell me I need to learn about, my eyes are open to something that, if true, I'm gonna go down that path and I'm gonna learn how to do that. And that is absolutely critical.
Hi, this is Dan Lok. If you're a fan of Evan's work, if you want to know exactly how to model my success, I want to invite you to join me for a special online training. All you have to do is click on the link below. You can join me for absolutely no charge. So click on the link below and I will see you in class.
If you want to know what Dan Lok thinks about ideas versus execution, go check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
The only difference between me and everybody else, I can execute it better than most people.